Right, welcome back. So you guys saw the last video. We're gonna get to doing a rough cut with this body to get it fitted on here. We're gonna start this build project on my fastest infraction, and we're gonna get this Thunder Truck fitted on here and get some of this aluminum off of here. I just want to say that been keeping an eye on the comments and tallying up the votes as they come in for the colors that you guys are choosing. A lot of you guys have got some pretty crazy, wicked ideas. One theme that seems to be a common occurrence is that people want to see stripes on it. So I can tell you for sure we will be doing stripes, because everybody's color choice seems like people are leaning towards stripes on it. So I want to do a bright color with stripes. Now I am noticing that and I'm going to give you guys a heads up in the tallies, so please get your votes in. I'm noticing that that orange, yellow, and fluorescent colors are they seem to be leading the charge, which I expected orange. Yellow, I really didn't expect it to be that high up. We do have a lot of reds, but the thing with the red is a lot of people are voting like burgundy, or a darker color. Hold on, getting a phone call. All right, sorry about that, little phone call. So got the metal front bumper off. Let's see what else is in the way of trimming this thing. Get some of this metal off of here. I really want to get this body trimmed up so I can at least start to fit it, you know. So it looks like we're gonna have to take off that rear as well. Looks like this diffuser's in the way, which is weird because look at that again. I guess I'll cut that out on the body because I gotta have the diffuser there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is leave it like this, and we're gonna trim this back out to allow the diffuser to sit it down a little bit. Know how to trim up bodies, but a lot of people don't know where to start. So what I see right here is just a bunch of material that I just don't need. So I'm going to trim some of that out. I am going to leave, I'm not even going to leave this corner in because I usually like the back open. So I'm going to start right here. Do I really need that in there? I don't think so. Now some people use an X-Acto knife and score it and snap it. I don't do it that way. I use scissors. For me, it gives me more control, I feel. But to each his own. I have tried and I have done scoring it and snapping it, and it works okay. You get a pretty clean cut out of it. But for me, scissors seem to work fine, so I don't really change up something that works. I mean, scoring it works as well. I can use my left or right hand. So I can keep cutting this, but what I'm going to do is get rid of this rounded corner so that I can bend it out. I like to bend it out to get a cleaner cut. So in this bubble being this 2 millimeter thick body, being so strong, it's really not worth fighting with. So I flipped my scissors around because I want to curve it up and get to the straight line right on that body line right there. Once I get around the corner, and you can cut straight with these. So what I'll do is grab my chicken scissors. Call them my chicken scissors because they came with my knife set. The longer your scissors are, the straighter your cut will be in the back. And I usually cut out most of the rear anyway because I don't want air getting trapped into it. So I like the back open as much as I possibly can. So there we go. We're sitting down right onto the body mounts, which is good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm on the front body mounts, which is good. I'm on the rear body mounts. So because the wheel wells are covered, we're doing pretty good. So I'm going to look at where I really need to trim these wheels to center it, because they're not always center in the wheel wells. It looks like the back wheel is more towards the forward than it is the rear. So I'm going to get it chalked up pretty much as straight as I can see it. And I'm using the lines on the bed to pretty much center it, so it's 2 from the edge, 2 from the edge, and then the body mount will be in between there somewhere. So I'm going to put those in the center on both sides towards those lines, and that's going to give me a good idea of where I need to trim everything. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it on the outside of the body, just so I have a rough idea right now of where my body mounts are hitting, where I set it up, so that I know. And it's easy to do this when it's clear, so that you know. This way, every time I set it back on, I know about where I'm going to put my dots of what I'm seeing. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take my Sharpie and I'm going to mark where I see the tire. This isn't going to be my cut line. This is just going to be where I'm seeing my tire. There we go. So now I'm going to work on my wheel wells. So you can see I made just a rough cut of where, not a cut, just drew a line of where I'm seeing the tire. So I know how much to trim forward and how much to trim back, because I want to cover these tires as much as I can on a speed body. Even though we know the outer line, what we need to follow, I just want to make sure I have enough turning radius on both. So now that I know my tire is within the wheel well on all of them, we're going to give this thing pretty much a rough, what I call a rough cut. So these look like they're pretty straight up before they turn. So I'm going to take my straight scissors and I'm going to trim to the inside. And remember, we can always open them up, but we can't add material. So always leave yourself a little bit of material. Now this, I'm going to go to the front as far as I can. And bring it right to where it starts to turn. Now that I got that, I'm going to bring my scissors that I can do my arch with. We're going to give this thing a nice looking arch. I'm going to bring it a little farther down on the top. Because it doesn't seem like the tires are going that high up. Coming right over to where I made my straight cut at. There we go. And save these pieces because we're going to do some paint samples off of them. Save our piece for our paint samples. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. I always try to start with the wheel wells. So the back I left some material and the front I took it all off. So we're going to do the same here. Back. Oh, I left some material on the back, so I'm going to do the same here. Up to where I want to turn, leaving a bunch of material at the top so I can try to enclose that tire, keep most of the wind out. Running right over to my straight cut. Just kind of look ahead to see where you're going to go. And that's how I do it. Relatively easy. And they do leave. So this front went right to the edge. So even though this is a 2mm body, it's really not that bad to cut. Remember, the body's going to push down a lot in the front, as we noticed on our GT Limitless. So we're going to try to give our wheels as much room as I possibly can. Because with the XLX2 in here, this thing should be an animal compared to my GT with the XLX. Get some fresh tires, and now that I have it marked with the Sharpie marks, I know pretty much where my body's going. That's looking pretty good, pretty good. Looks like I'm going to be able to lower the body mount just a little bit. And And then we can trim up this side to fit into our aluminum. The aluminum side plates on this has a groove to where the body can fit in. I'm gonna probably keep it past that so that I could tape it to the bottom of it. So honestly, let's see. See, that kicks over the body a lot. So it seems like the body is arched in on this side and straight on this side in the mold process. Yeah, that's what's going on. So the front, I'm just going to trim off this little excess, I think, and leave the corners. Not a hole, and this front of this body got all messed up and bad in that box, because I'm kind of curious to see why that's that way before I trim the front of this. So here's the Basher Queen's front splitter, BQNA 320520. Says V2, V1, or V2 6S BLX. And it is countersunk, which I love. So we're going to get this bag opened up. Shout out to the Basher Queen. You guys want some good carbon fiber for speed runs or bashing, you can rub this splitter on the ground. And mine hasn't cracked, as you guys saw on my GT. Well, let's see how this fits up. She's always been dead on. Oh yeah, dead on. Just call her the dead on measurer girl. Basher Queen. Now I replaced these screws from the factory ones, because the factory ones tend to rip out and rub the ground. But the way she has it, countersunk, I should be able to put the factory screws back in. And I can't wait to get her these side plates so she can make some carbon fiber ones and really get some weight out of this RC. All right. Now let's see how that thing works on the front splitter, if I'm correct. So that's got to slide over a little bit. Make sure you guys are positioned down. Yeah, see? Right flat on my splitter. And she's got these two holes that I could probably use to pin this body right there. I might have to trim it down, because remember, we're sitting on top of the body mounts and that's holding it up. So I am going to have to trim this to bring it down. So let's, I am going to trim this a little bit so I can get this closer to my body mount. That's why I wanted that front splitter up there. So before I do that, let me see how far down I have to go. Get the body somewhat lined up. Now I'm going to take a Sharpie. We're not hitting our studs on our body post, so we're going to have to go down quite a bit. So I'm probably going to start about like that. So it looks like I'm probably going to be going to this one. Just kind of marking out which which line I really want to try to follow. It's not the straightest, but it will be when I do the cut. So chicken scissors is what this is going to call for. In line with your black line. Of course, my phone is ringing. We'll be right back. Alright, took me a minute to find my body reamer. So, I'm going to ream out the front of this body. My son has been getting into wrenching on his bike, so he's literally taking my tools and measuring tapes and stuff like that, which you can't get mad at him. He just wants to learn how to wrench like his dad. So 1.5. I'm going to go ahead and bust these side things off. They're creating an issue with me trying to line up this body. It keeps, because the body's bent on one side, it keeps pushing the body off the wrong direction. Having 2 daughters, you have a bunch of little boys hanging out in front of your house, which is never a good thing. So let's try this again. So with this rear, because it's sitting on the high marks, I might just put I really want to put the front in first before I adjust the rear. It keeps literally falling off in the rear. Yep, the back keeps falling off. Before I attempt the second one. So I'm going to poke this hole first. Don't want to go too big. So that second mark is going to be a little higher. One first big line. Running straight down that. That's pretty good right there. No turning back now. body seems to be a little thicker in spots. Got the same amount hanging off on both edges. That's what I was going for. Now we're going to line up this rear. There we go. Body is fitted. 4 holes drilled, half hour later. Center brace right down the center. Looking good. Cut pretty good, so when I put my pins in, it's flat against it. Have to trim that corner a little bit. But that's the way it's looking. So I'm going to pause the video here, get some clips in it, we're going to take a look. Alright, so you saw us mask it up, kind of, but I went ahead and shot it. There will be a separate video of that. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to peel the coating and set it onto the RC. It's dry enough to where we should be able to peel it. Now these corners right here, I'm probably going to cut these off. These little weak things hanging down, it's not worth it. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drywall tape and shoe glue these corners so that they don't flex in. The front of this is really, even though it's 2 millimeters, it feels like under 100+ mile-an-hour winds, it feels like it would bow in a little, and I don't want that. So right now I'm going to try to catch an edge. I notice that this body has got issues when they molded it, and I'll point those out later. But right now we're going to check out this color because you guys are seeing it first here. Look at that orange. If you saw the multiple layers I shot to get this color orange, it's pretty epic, if you ask me. trying not to lose the edge because it was kind of difficult to peel up. Losing it right there. Once you see all the overspray off of it, it's so satisfying to see how your paint jobs come out. And the funny part is no matter how bad you mess it up, it always comes out looking sick once you peel it. Awesome. It actually looks better than I thought it would with me painting it. There we go. Look at that. Nice and fire. Look at that shine. Clear windows so I can see GPS and what's going on inside. Once we get the decals on, look at that. So fire. Let's set it onto the chassis and see what we're working with. It is still not fully dry, so I won't leave it on the chassis overnight. But there we go. We're going to get the rest of the carbon fiber on and set our body off to the side and finish doing this build. But now you guys know the color that won, orange. We had some pink, some green, a lot of yellow, some colors I didn't even think about. Not a lot of purples this time though, but a couple of pinks, and not like one person voted for pink. There was a few pinks in there, which, to come to think about it, a matte pink with white would have been kind of cool. But there we go. I do have some wheels and tires coming for it that are going to fit it perfect. But we do have stripes. You can see the silver and white. Next, we'll get the wing painted up right before we install it. But that's going to end this video. It's kind of long. There we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about the color. I'm sure we're going to be able to see it. That's the most important part to a speed car. So there we go, guys. Catch you guys on my next video.